Angelic teaching number 1, session number 9. Wow, those sessions go fast. All right. Besides drinking enough water and being able to regenerate as well, which is very important, I want to talk to you about how to deal with what you feel when you do an energy work and it triggers a lot of fears, a lot of emotions, and you start to feel as a sponge picking up too much on all of that. First thing to do is to dim the intensity of the work that you're doing, getting back on your crystal ball, focusing on your breathing, helping the other person to do the same thing. Be sure that everything that is being released from this person is being transformed as soon as it comes out. Controlling that, and as you do all of that, getting back to what you feel by staying on your crystal ball first and then acknowledging where the pain comes from. Alright, let's say it's from the solar plexus and the chest. You want to identify if those emotions are yours or those emotions are the other person's. Does it come from your life, from this person's life, from your life of now, or from before, from a past life? You want to pinpoint that, and then you're able to release it. You release it, you get back to your crystal ball, and you keep continuing the work. How much time does all this process takes? Whatever it takes. You cannot go further if you've got something that pops up. You don't want to blend your work with the emotions that you feel, not even understanding where they come from. You have to have this integrity all the time to be able to be spot on, doing your things, doing your work. Now, let's talk about another topic. Let's say that you increase the level of frequency of the room and you bring this person to another level of frequency. At one point, you're going to have visions for yourself, insights for your own life, because you're also in this field of energy. And those messages are directed towards you by your guides as a gift. You have to be able to integrate those different insights and allow them not to interfere with the messages that you might receive as well for your client. I told you there are so many different parameters, so many different layers. You do understand that those topics we were not able to talk about them in the earlier sessions because it was not the right timing and there were too many things to process. How interesting is that? Each time we think that we're getting closer to master something, there is another subject to master and to discover. Yes, it's like life. When you think that you're mastering, remembering things or knowing things, there is another tool that comes up. Remember, what counts is the purpose, the mission, the tasks, the goals, your desires, your needs. You have to be able to segment all of that to identify precisely what you want. The same way you want, when you work with one client, to be able to pinpoint exactly, to have a clear picture of what you want to achieve, what would be possible to achieve for this client right away. And that's very useful. It's like having this strategy already that comes towards you in regards to something. When I work for a company, for example, I see right away the dysfunctions of the company. I see where the problems lay. And then from there, I'm able to see as well where this company should be and where it's heading towards. What are the different projects coming for this different company? And all my work then is helping this company to become who she really is supposed to be, who she's supposed to become. When you work with one client, do the same thing. When one client comes, ask your guides to show you what would be this person with no blockages, being freed from all the tensions, where this is supposed to be leading her. And then all the rest, it's all about settings. I like to be working with another tool. Remember, I told you that there are roughly 100 different settings on the human body. And by visualizing each of those settings as a button with its proper intensity and frequency, you can tweak that. You can be working the same way by visualizing that those buttons will pop up and you will see them like buttons on one person, like another layer, and you just tweak those buttons, you change those buttons, you change the frequency when you see them, and you're going to see that those buttons hold a certain color as well, and the darker the buttons, the more of work that needs to be done on them. You don't have to know what those buttons are linked to. You just need to be working on them. Should you be working by actually shifting those different buttons in front of your clients? I believe it helps. If you do bring your client to participate in this process by telling this client what you're doing and why you're doing it, it works. Sometimes you've got so many things that come towards you when you do your energy work that you don't have the time to explain everything. You have to trust that the messages that you are sharing are the messages that your client needs to hear. It's like an IT guy doing the work on your website. You actually don't need to have everything sorted and to understand each single step of what he did. You just want your website to be going and running smooth. You want to have this page being uploaded. You want to have this picture edited. All those different tasks. So be precise in the content that you deliver to your clients and feel what is right to let this client know and what this client doesn't need to know. Sometimes there are 5 or 6 different things that you're working on at the same time. And if you start to analyze what is that pain linked to, why did it come up now, why does it trigger that fears, you're going to spend 10 minutes understanding, focusing, explaining, going deeper, bringing back those different memories. For what? For nothing. Instead, during those 10 minutes, you would have been able to create and change many different other realities. Remember the values we talked about in the session number 1 and session number 2 especially. Trust is part of them, and it is very important. I told you that everything comes back to values. Tools, they have thousands of tools, and the more you're going to combine them, then the more you're going to create and manifest. If you start adding 2 or 3 tools working all together, you're creating a brand new tool that you've never been using before. How not to feel overwhelmed with all those different tools? Well, you have to trust that the right tool will appear at the right time in your hand to be using it. Sometimes it's being triggered by your client himself. Your client telling you that suddenly they experience this or they feel that. And you will know intuitively what to do. What should guide you is sentences like, how could I help best this person? What's the best way to be helping this person? What needs to be done? How could I achieve it? And ask, show me how to do it. Are you going to wait to do something until you have already done it? No. You have to go for it. I'd like to be enticing you to start doing things that you can control, that you can see happening. Manifesting is one of the key tools as a healer. Manifesting is very powerful. The more you're going to practice on manifesting, the more you're going to be used to do it, the more you're going to feel enthusiastic about going for bigger projects. Instead of saying, I want to buy a car, what if you start to change your reality by saying, I wish to manifest a car for myself. You wish to manifest a car for yourself. Wow. That brings way more options. Is it someone lending you a car for a period of time because this person goes on holiday? Is it someone giving you a car? Lending you a car? Is this person offering you a loan for this car? Many different options. Again, during this session today, we are really working on bringing things to concepts that are close to our physical world. Because most of the time when people come towards you, 80% of the time they want to manifest something. And they want to manifest something that's tangible. Could be either more money, or being more happy, or finding a new partner, these topics are going to come very, very often. Of course, you will find people coming towards you because they want to increase their spiritual awareness and go on their path, starting a new journey. But on 100 people who are going to come towards you, how many are willing to go on their spiritual path and quest? And what if, when those people are coming for that, you start to feel that what holds them back from doing that is that they've got blockages that they need to shift? The other topic is how you're going to be able to bring that to their awareness and entice them to be working on it. When I started doing those courses and teachings and healings, I will not talk as much. People would just come in front of me, they will look into my eyes, I will do the energy work and let them know that within a few days a lot of things are going to change in a positive way. At one point you start to realize that those people need more than just that. Even though sometimes by not talking it allows you to go higher to frequencies and do more work. Again, you have to find the right balance. Yes. I'd like you to start focusing as well on what you want to do with those gifts. Why did you go towards that in the first place? I've seen doctors coming to see me for teachings, and they feel that they need to add an extra tool to their toolbox. And they use energy work in order to program the room for each client to sit and be already enjoying this field of energy, and for this doctor to be able to shift different things on this client besides giving this client the proper, normal, usual things that this client would expect when they come and see a doctor. How you're going to integrate those teachings into your work? Are you going to dissociate them and be able to set yourself and work progressively as a healer? Are you going to blend those tools to yours already, adding new tools to your already healing tools? Are you going to change the way you work, no matter what your work is, and blend those different tasks with energy work? Is it for a purpose of personal development? Is it for a purpose of knowing yourself, helping others, increasing the level of frequency of humanity? It's awareness. What is it all about? Do you know? Do you don't know? Comes another question. What do you do, or what to do when you don't know? It will happen many times. A list of questions that you don't have answers for. And again, this can come in any different topics. It can be on a more physical aspect. Well, I've got that thing, and for example, the emails. Well, those emails that you keep receiving on your phone messages at the bottom when you're looking at your emails, saying, well, it keeps trying to send emails, but it's not succeeding. You don't even know what they're talking about, and you keep receiving this message popping up there, and you don't know what to do with it. Well, when you've got those type of questions, I like to write them down. I like to write them down on a piece of paper. And I start the headline by "to learn." And then the first bullet point is how to blah, blah, blah. During the week, you might have few of those. And if I can't find it by Googling the right thing, I just go to bed at night. And just before I go to bed, I state the questions for which I want the answers. When I get up in the morning or in the middle of the night, I wake up and I know I need to be working on one thing. And when I look for that, I find the answers. Subconscious mind sends messages to the universe and brings you the answers back to you. Start by doing it at night, and progressively you'll be able to do it on the spot when you ask for something. And it leads to manifesting things. Again, the more precise your questions, the simpler the questions, the easier the answer. Remember as well that you don't have to create everything. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. A lot of things, a lot of tools, a lot of techniques are already working. You just need to be able to tap into them. You don't have to do everything. You only need to do parts of it. Connecting to this information, reconnecting to it. Another thing, yes, you keep wanting to increase your level of frequency. Allowing your gift to expand and to grow. To feel more and more precisely things and changes. What we feel, what we experience today, you will experience something different tomorrow. Your level of perception will change, will become more and more acute. And that's the way to do it. Does it mean that we are always learning? Of course we do. Does it mean that we have to go for that? Yes. We have to accept, we have to trust that the plateau that we reach are there at one point for one specific reason. You might be suddenly realizing that for the last few weeks you didn't learn anything or nothing came towards you on that specific topic, and that you feel that you're stuck. No, you're not stuck. You're consolidating your knowledge. Very important concept. It's all about perceiving reality for what it is and putting emotions onto it, positive emotions onto it. 3 different people experiencing the same event might have a different reaction to this event. the emotions that we feel and that we experience in regards to one event are shaping our own reality. This reality becomes our present. Are you upset about one event that happened? Are you feeling furious about it? Are you feeling a little bit irritable about it? Words are very important. Words are a frequency. Each word corresponds to a very specific frequency. Yes. We consider, Jewish consider that in the alphabet, each letter is linked to one number. And each number is, of course, a specific frequency, like notes of music. When you put two different letters next to each other, they add the number of each letter, and that creates then another number. And you keep doing this, and basically, if you give only the value of each letter and you put them one after the other, you are able to understand the frequency of the world without even knowing what word we're talking about. You can tap into it. It makes sense. It creates a story. Like different words in one sentence. Like different cards in the tarot cards. I consider that the tarot cards are like letters in the alphabet. When you put different letters one after the other, it creates sentences, it creates words. It creates a melody. When you break that down into different timelines through past, present, and future, you're adding another concept, another value. You're adding time. And then you start creating links and bonds between those different timelines, understanding patterns, shapes. Each tool that you bring up is a new way of understanding reality, of understanding the world. You can act on anything. Give me a bunch of stones, and I'll be able to understand things just by looking at those stones and throwing those stones on the floor. I will feel guided towards the shape of them, the color of them, the images that I get, the perceptions. Anything can help you to connect to the other world. Plate numbers for cars, same things. Those are tools. Details on one person's jewelry. As soon as you're working on one specific topic, suddenly this person feels that his shoulder needs to move and move its shoulder. It confirms what you're working on. I'm not saying that observation has to be the key, the leading key of your energy work. I'm saying that it has to be part of it as well. You need to be able to blend all those different sources. At one point, you will have doubts about your own capacities. Either because you will feel that you are able to understand everything, or on the contrary, that you will feel overwhelmed by all those different information. The key point is to get back to your crystal ball, to be in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. What if you're spending too much time in one reality or the other? It's like having two lives, two separate lives. There is the life that you see in the spirit world, and there is the life that you experience as a human. And those interactions can come very handy, or sometimes more challenging. The concept of being crazy as well has to be worked out as well. At one point, you will start to have doubts about what is real and what is not. Are you hallucinating? The voices that you're receiving, are they the right ones? How do you know for sure that you're on the right track? Well, remember, we always learn. Each of us is always learning, always adding new experiences, learning new tools. You need to have a reference point. You need to have people that you trust who can help you answering your questions. I have one client, for example, she lives in Canada, she's a master healer as well, and each 6 months she books a session through Skype. And we go through a lot of different topics, a lot of different questions, and we shift those different realities. To help her on her journey. Remember that because we've got a lot of different settings and things that we can be working on, you will feel drawn to go towards learning more of one topic or the other. That's becoming, it's called becoming a specialist in one field or another. How could you handle all of that and still being calm? How can you be sure that everything falls into place at the right timing? You have to trust. Like right now, less words are coming and more energy work is taking place. Am I moving my hands? No. I'm just focusing on breathing. Because you have to trust that the rhythm that you're using, what is happening and manifesting for you, is the right thing. You have to follow that guidance. You have to trust it. You have to believe that this is the right thing to do. expanding one vortex, expanding one chakra. How do you expand one chakra? Let's say that you feel that the solar plexus of this person needs to be expanded. Are you going to think about it? No, you're going just to do it. You visualize what you have to see. And if it's a circle that wishes to expand, you will know. You will know by concentric circles around it, like everything is moving towards the direction of becoming bigger, and you feel drawn of doing that. Don't think, just start doing the things. I've seen students going towards light language, this ability to channel very specific frequencies of beings and starting to talk words that apparently don't make sense. Something like something like that. Are they making it up? Probably not. Remember, words are frequency, and messages can be transmitted in many different ways. Sometimes you will be surprised when one person speaks in another language to intuitively understand what they're saying. I'm not saying that you will be able to reply back to them in the same language, but being able to interact with them. I remember once where one monk was talking to me, Buddhist monk was talking to me. It was through a ceremony, and I would understand what they were saying, what he was saying, before the translator would tell me what he meant. And I would be able to nod my head in accordance to what he was saying, because I would understand intuitively what he was saying. How is that possible? Because I was tuning into the frequency of the content of the message and not focusing on the words. Words are energy. I really want you to grasp the concept that there is no limit in energy work. So many different topics can be reached. You can be tapping into the frequency of creation, of manifestation, of inventions, finding answers, doing research, learning, studying, healing. Becoming a healer is a state of change. Being able to transform reality. It's an alchemy. It's the alchemy process. The alchemy of the soul. It's not just about transforming one metal into another one. It's not about lead to gold. It's about any different substances. And you do have to trust that you will know what feels right to do. The intensity that you put in your work, the faith that you put into it, the will, the determination, the ethic, all those are parameters in order to become the real healer that you already are. I wish you all the best. Talk to you soon.